Welcome to episode 27 of the 15-Minute Coffee Podcast, your go-to destination for expert perspectives and valuable insights from the world of business. In this episode, I'm here with Clinton Asante-Addo, a corporate partnership intern for the New York Giants. Let's start with talk about who you are and introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah, you just said it. My name is Clinton Asante-Addo, and I'm currently at the New York Giants as a corporate partner. So I graduated from Rider University recently with a degree in digital marketing. So right now I am interning with the Giants as a corporate partner. What that pretty much means is, with the Giants we have a lot of corporate partners, and our job with the corporate partners is to make sure their brand is visible. That's one of the main reasons why they partner with us. So what I do is I work with the corporate partnership team where we pretty much take care of anything that they might need in terms of marketing or any events that they might need to hold or anything like that. So we pretty much take care of all of that um, within the day.
What's like a highlightable moment that you've so far had of this experience?
A highlight of a moment with the experience is just being able to see all the athletes, and also all whether it's athletes that or athletes that are newer to the organization and they're trying to get their name out there. Just being able to see so many like high level players in one room is definitely interesting because you work an internship, you're not really expecting to see let's say you go in a cafeteria, you might see this player right there. So just having that opportunity to like be in a room with such high level people is definitely interesting with the internship, and I'm honestly truly blessed to have the opportunity to be able to be with these type of people.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely use that as a networking opportunity. Even if you just, like you said, possibilities for lunch. I mean, I think that would be a perfect opportunity. And like with that being said, like as a recent graduate from Rider University, what is like the most profound thing you've learned during your time in college that could actually help current undergraduates?
Yeah, as a recent graduate, something I learned that you probably hear all the way from freshman year is get those connections. At first you hear, you're like, yeah, I understand, I got to get connections, blah blah blah. But as you get older, you start to realize those connections are crucial. And in certain industries, for example the sports industry, it's a lot about who you know. you know um you can apply for the position, but that's hundreds of other people. But let's say someone that either had the position or or is in that industry, you have that that leg up in the industry to be able to apply yourself and get yourself well known. So definitely, one thing I took from Ryder was making those connections. The connections are going to be very important. So with this internship, Ryder recently had the partnership with the New York Giants. So even that right there, that's a connection itself. Ryder having that connection with the Giants. So just connections in general is really important. Just put yourself out there, get that LinkedIn going early, get it started. Just try to meet as many people as you can, and also make meaningful connections. Don't just like meet them and just say bye, call it off. Try to have lunch with them, like you mentioned before. Have lunch with them or talk. Just have conversations here and there so that those connections can stay in the future, and that you're able to use them if you like want to utilize them for whether it's a job or anything you might need in life.
I mean, that's a great point. So actually, for like I've received like information from my mentor,
Mhm.
who's like a professional career coach. It's he goes, don't really apply for jobs if you don't have your foot in. And like I kind of took that lightly at first, but then like he would start elaborating on it, and it's basically, and I use this method now. Like, I rarely apply to somewhere if I don't know someone there. So let's say I don't know someone for that, either on the team or someone from that company who could actually get a good word in for me. I don't really waste time applying because then again, it is wasting time.
Yeah.
Because if you think of it, there's going to be 10 or 20 other people who are just as qualified as you, or if not more qualified than you, who already have their foot in the door. So, in my perspective, I think it's kind of like a really good opportunity to network and be able to get your foot in the door in a lot of places and actually make significant connections. So,
Yeah, you're right. That's a great point you bring up.
right. And then basically, like, what would be the best piece of career advice that you think would help someone aspiring for success?
Yeah. I kind of touched based on it before with networking, but honestly, another advice I have is to, take those chances. I know a lot of people might have set majors that they might want to pursue, set industries. A lot of times when it comes to things like industries, you just kind of have to be flexible. You know, there's really no, when it comes to it, yes, you can have a set industry you want to go into, but if you're, let's say, with me, I had marketing, it's a flexible kind of industry, it's a flexible major. So just be able to be willing to work in other industries that might not make you comfortable. My previous internships, the one before this was at Capital Health, which was in healthcare. So that's completely different from the New York Giants. And the one before that was for a tech company, SHI International, you know? So just like having that broad range helps you in the long run. You know, being able to reference companies like that shows employers that, you know, you're versatile and that you're not just there to do the bare minimum. You know, you're there to learn and you're there to, you know, work hard for what's yours.
Yeah, definitely. And that's just a great point because once you do these internships, you kind of get your foot in the doors at a lot of these companies. You make good connections, and you're
Yep.
basically in.
Yeah.
So what would be like the best skills you've learned from college that are useful on a job and day-to-day basis?
Yeah. That's a great question. Time management is key, you know, being able to do multiple things at once. As you start going into the job force, it's not going to be a, hey, do this one project for me for the whole day. You know, you might have a project that might be done at the end of the week, but throughout the day, you're going to be throwing in three, four more projects. You know, being able to manage your time and, you know, setting block times throughout the day to, let's say, work on this or maybe work on the other thing is definitely important. Something you learn from way before, you know. With college, you have classes. Being able to manage your time with classes and also maybe those who might have extracurriculars, whether it's a club or if they're athletes. So just time management is definitely important because you're going to see that in the real world. And they're going to expect you to be able to do multiple things at once. So definitely work on time management. That would definitely help you. And also just being able to organize everything, you know, so setting a schedule, using a calendar, things like that definitely help you get that leg up because once you're organized, it's less about stressing about what you have to do, you know. Once everything's organized, you can actually put time into whatever task it is and make it the best it can be.
A great point. Also, so once you're in the internship, once you get the internship, you land the job, you got what you wanted. How do you stand out in like a competitive field? Because undoubtedly there's gonna be typically more than one intern doing the same thing as you're doing. And at the end of the day, most companies they look for the select few that are going to be continuing with this position full time, part time, or even just continuing their career. The ones that they're going to talk good about to other recruiters if they're going to other jobs. How do you stand out and be that guy, the one that other people want, or the one that that company wants?
Yeah. And as an intern, for those who are definitely looking to do internships or starting internships soon, as an intern, you have to understand you're there to learn. You know, a lot of times companies will tell you, "Oh, like if we have anything, we'll let you know." A lot of times I might not cut it. You know, if you want to learn, you have to be able to go seek that help. You know, so you go up to them. Oh, hey, I know you mentioned this. I finished this project. If there's anything else that you want me to do, you know, I can happily do it for you. So have making yourself readily available for work, whether it's the most difficult thing or something that may take 5 seconds, definitely helps you stand out because as a coworker start to see those who've been there for a while, they're gonna start to notice, hey, this kid really wants to work. This is someone who I want to work with. Now, if you're an intern and you just go through the motions, you don't really do much. And let's say you get work, you might do it here and there. Yeah, you're an intern, but what are you getting out of it? See, the key thing about internship is learning, you know? You might not get that full-time job, but what you do is you learn a lot. And it's not just put it on your resume. It's about the things that you gain from it, the skill sets and all of that, you know? So if you want to stand out as an intern, be definitely willing to learn, ask a lot of questions. If you're not sure, don't be embarrassed. They don't expect you to know everything, you know? Everything they're going to teach you, you might not know, you know? So definitely work on being able to ask questions and being readily available if necessary. And also when you go in the office, you know, be as friendly as possible. I know a lot of times people might have like a certain face that they might have when they walk into a building or something like that. No, honestly, when you go in, act like you just had the best day of your life, even if it might not be the best day of your life. You see somebody, let's say in the morning, you smile, you say good morning. A lot of times that really sticks out because you're not seen as the intern who just runs off to their desk and does work. You know, you're the ones that can have a conversation. Oh, hey, how was your weekend? You know, things like that. And then that's how you start building connections. And once you have those connections built, you transition so much easier into the full-time role to the point where you might not even need to interview for the full-time job because you already have it, or you interview it and it's already guaranteed. So definitely those things for incoming interns or current interns, work on that for sure. And that's something I learned with my past and current internship experience that, you know, I still continue to work on to this day. And I try to improve it so that I can stand out as an intern.
Yeah, so I like the point that you talked about, like don't be afraid to learn and like keep asking questions. So actually shout out Zach Fernandez. I was talking with him yesterday. He basically said he was known as the guy who just asked questions and always asked for more work at his internship, and it kind of got him places. It made him have a good reputation. it's just like powerful to be like always challenging yourself, and that's something I really like aspire to do, just to keep challenging myself. But that was a great point you made there because it resonates with a lot of people when I talk to them about how you could stand out in a field that is so competitive, especially when you get in. So you have a
Yeah,
big shot to get it.
yeah, for sure.
And then with the last question being, what would be the best advice for getting involved on campus at Rider?
I would say take advantage of any of the club fairs that they have. I know Ryder has Bronco Palooza, which is earlier on where it shows highlights all the clubs and orgs. I know sometimes it's scary, big crowds. Big crowds isn't for everybody, seeing everybody in one spot. But that's really your golden opportunity to be able to meet, those who are in clubs and orgs that you might be interested in. Because going the whole, let's say you email or you text somebody about it, you're not really gonna learn anything from it. You learn from it when you get to go in person, see the people, and see how you vibe with the environment. So definitely take advantage of all of those, whether it's a career fair, involvement fair, any fair in general that will help you, further yourself. I know it's difficult for some, but you just have to break out of your shell and just be able to go out there and put yourself out there, because that's where networking starts at involvement affairs. It starts at career fairs. It starts in the classroom. So just being able to communicate and be able to bring yourself out there is definitely important. And take advantage of those fairs that I know Ryder has a whole bunch of them. So definitely it's great for students to take advantage of those and just to get to meet the people, who are in higher up positions that you might be in the future. So yeah, that's what I would say for that.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned don't be afraid and to take risks because like reflecting on myself and personally, like a year ago today, like I wouldn't have seen myself where I am not in like 100 years because I was just too shy, nervous about what to do. But you kind of just get out of that comfort zone quickly because you either sink or swim. And if you want to get somewhere in life, set tangible goals and then break those tangible goals and then set more tangible goals and keep breaking them. So that's at least my mentality.
Yeah, and that's a perfect mentality to go with.
Yep. And as that wraps up episode 27 of the 15-minute coffee podcast with Brandon Salazar, we hope you've enjoyed gaining insights from our guests and exploring the world of business with us. Don't forget to check out the podcast on our social media at the 15-minute coffee podcast on YouTube and Instagram for upcoming episodes. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.